Fellow fans of Final Fantasy IV finished freakishly fast. Welcome to today's round one match of Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise Highway to the Zemus Zone. I am really excited for today. My name is Smaepdii, and I am here with Invenerable. How you doing, Inven?
Oh, I'm doing pretty well. Lovely Saturday. Good time for a race. And four great racers on deck.
Yeah, absolutely. These are some of the best of the best. The Highway to the Zemus Zone is introducing 32 of the absolute best runners of Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise as determined by our qualifying rounds. So you are in for, honestly, some of the most skilled runners of this randomizer here today.
Absolutely. We have Simbu 9, rexxraul, eizantayama, and scratchdragon, a bunch of familiar names, both from our community races, past events, last year's Zemus Zone. Looking forward to see how they handle this seed.
Yeah, definitely. There are a lot of really big community names here. Simbu 9, of course, has done a lot of phenomenal research and advancement as far as really pushing forward specific strategies regarding the final boss, Zeromus. We've got rexxraul, who has been a phenomenal contributor to commentary and restreaming for a lot of these races. And then eizantayama and scratchdragon, both incredibly legendary players of Free Enterprise. So this is really an all-star match.
Oh yeah, both Aizen and Scratch were top 8 of last year's Zemus Zone, participating in the final races that last day. And Scratch, of course, one of the 4 Free Enterprise runners who got to partake at RPG Limit Break and showcase the game there at the main fundraising event this past May.
Yeah, definitely big. So for those of you that are a little unfamiliar with how this Highway to the Zemus Zone League works, we do run the big thing here is the V1 variant. Oh my goodness, double Edward to start.
Oh
my.
No, that's actually, if I have a double Eddy, I don't hate that start at all. We have a bunch of extra shops we can check if we want dancing daggers or good bows and arrows. If we find sirens, we can even grind our eddies up to fairly reasonable levels underground using of course, our yellow dragon eggs on that western peninsula. So it looks bad, but the magma key forgives a multitude of hardships.
Most certainly, and it actually opens up a lot right off the bat, so we might see some very interesting route diversions just from the word go here. In fact, we already see rexxraul forgoing the typical Baron start and going right down to Aggart. Yeah, he is going right underground.
Yeah, I kind of like this. You're going to have different loot from your opponents, but if you want, Dwarf Castle has a ton of chests you can check. Tomra has the 6 in the Temp Job Dwarf Shack, and Feymarch has a ton, along with, of course, a free potential key item in the vanilla Rat Tail chest. So Rex making some bold plays here. I don't fault him. He knows he's up against some really, really high-tier opponents and making the plays early on. I like it.
Yeah. Most certainly. As I was saying before, those key item checks are going to be very important because we are on the V1 flag, which means that the crystal is not in the key item pool. In order to get the crystal, our runners are going to have to find both the legend sword and the adamant key item, both normally used for the side quest to get Cecil's Excalibur. This time, that provides them with the crystal itself. What this means is they're going to have to explore, generally speaking, a larger percentage of the game than you would under more typical flag sets. So it's going to sort of really challenge our runners and their routing capabilities here.
And Rex diving straight to Dwarf Castle, finding a diamond armor. Well, there's a good source of money. Illusions in the shop. I found one item to sell, and I'm going to spend all the money on illusions. Which, again, with the double Eddy start, that's a great item. It'll let him dodge 2 physical attacks every time you pop one, and with this team, you can burn through all 20 pretty quickly.
Yeah,
I do like that we've already seen 2 Zeus gauntlets as well, though. If only the Bard could actually equip them. Huge bonuses to strength and vitality. Anyone who can actually wield that piece of armor.
Yeah, unfortunately, very difficult to pluck harp strings when you've got those Zeus gauntlets on, so Edward decides not to use them. But when he does get some actual viable melee characters, that's going to be a substantial bonus for them.
Absolutely. Now, I was so excited to see the little bit, well, first of all, between the double Eddy start and Rex, making the plays out the gate. Did you see who was in the Baron Inn, both the first boss fight and the character?
It was the Bae herself. I didn't catch the boss fight, but Rosa is available to seed. And speaking of Rosa, her sweetheart himself, Dark Knight Cecil, is over there at Mount Hobbs.
Oh, excellent. Guarded by one of the Mylon variants. Let's see here. Mylon Z. I mean, I didn't see, let's see the item menu here. I'm really hoping that Aizen found some good J items to throw here, because otherwise, this will be a little tricky fight. Mylon Z doesn't have a lot going for him, but neither does this team.
Yeah, he's got some dancing daggers. I saw a little bit of hesitation before he decided to go in and do the fight. It looks like he's committing to it. And yeah, he's got those dancing daggers. I see a Zeus Rage in his inventory. We'll see how he does this.
Actually, yeah, the dancing dagger plus that stack of life potions. So even if the Edward with the dancing dagger drops, the Dark Knight is doubling as a chemist today, and since the Dark Knight Pessilo is only taking just a few damage per hit, I think Aizen's actually going to pull this off.
Yeah, it's just a war of attrition at this point. The one thing that is a little unfortunate is even if you do win this fight, you don't exactly come away with something that carries you. But they're taking care of Mylon Z there, very little problem, and has got a Dark Knight for his troubles.
And the Tomra shop, by the way, is loaded. Holy crap. I'm looking forward to Rex here showing us the full list again, because it was too much for my brain to comprehend in one go. Cure 3s, Thor Rages, Tents, Sirens, and of course, for those of you with a crippling Ether 2 addiction, well, there's your source of those this seed as well. Woo!
That is good, especially those vampires. Even this early in the game, when all you got is 2 Edwards, those vampires can actually do a substantial amount of damage to a lot of the early game overworld bosses.
Oh, absolutely. Don't throw them in that Mylon Z fight, but
oh yeah.
But everything else, that's a great find. Yeah, absolutely. With 2 Eddies and a DKC. Whew. Scratch here doing a little looting of the Mist Village. Getting a little cash for his troubles, but yeah, that's one thing we're going to see with this starting party that we wouldn't see, say, with like a Sid or a Kane start. There's going to be a lot more checking of weapon shops here. Eddie's not going to do damage without dancing daggers or a really good bow and arrows, and Dark Knight Cecil, if you don't have the black sword, you're not getting anything done with him either.
Yeah, and even with that black sword, it's only sort of a minor upgrade too. You really want to try to route in Mount Ordeals, get him to Paladin, get a good weapon in his hands as quickly as you can if you plan on using him in the long term.
We do find the Baron key for the free item check down here in Feymarch. Not a bad find, does open up 2 more potential key item checks along with 3 bosses and a character. The Odin spot, I'm not fighting the Odin spot with this team yet, but it's still, it's a good option for building up this party a little more, which all our racers are definitely going to want to do.
Yeah, especially with how the party is looking right now. I'm really looking at that Baron key as being a good source of a really potentially strong character. We do have that flag on that restricts our 2 most powerful characters, Fusoya and Edge, to being behind at least 1 key item. So there's always the possibility that that is where either of those characters is lying. Of course, we do have on the flag for these leagues that makes it so that not every character is guaranteed to show up. So you're not necessarily going to see all the characters like you would in maybe a more standard set of flags.
And Drake Many, you might be surprised. Eddie has more than 1 trick up his sleeve. His hide ability is very broken, and Simbu, in fact, just earlier this week put out a tutorial video. So those of you who want to learn how to win the Zeromus fight with a relatively low-level Edward, well, Simbu literally has a tutorial for that. And this is a team that may be able to take advantage of that. If we can find, pass Legend Sword Adamant fairly early without having to worry about fighting a bunch of rude moon bosses, we may get to see those Eddie strats in action this season.
Yeah, and that's really one of those things that really is going to separate like the upper echelon of players from the rest. Being able to find a situation in which you can put those kind of esoteric strategies into play and succeeding at them can really separate you from the rest of the pack when it comes to free enterprise. Absolutely.
And by the way, during our little pre-show, when you were talking about having good words, pulling out Esoteric on stream, That's you've already made my Saturday, Smaepdii.
That is a cromulent favorite of mine.
Oh, and hey, finally, a dwarf job that makes sense. A steel worker. Makes a lot more sense than a farmer or a farmhand down here, surrounded by all this ore and lava. Well, I guess it's magma technically down here, huh?
Yeah, probably working on those dwarven tanks that we actually don't get to see much of in Free Enterprise, sadly.
You know, I wonder if that is... So one of the flags we have on the flag randomizes the bomb sprite if you ever take the package to actually get the character in Mist Village and Kaipo. I wonder if the dwarven tanks are in that pool, like just flying dwarven tanks burning down the town.
If they're not, and Board is listening to this, I'm sure they will be soon.
Absolutely. A lot of our other racers finally treading the same ground Rex did, discovering a lot of these really great items for sale in the underworld, doing their looting of possibly Dwarf Castle and Feymarch. I like seeing that Ogre Axe, by the way. It's a very solid weapon that if we get a Sid, if we upgrade our Cecil, if we get a Kane, all three of them can use it. Good accuracy, decent damage. Probably one of the nicer things to find at this point, because you're not going to find your holy swords or your really good spears in chests. So really great multi-purpose weapon.
Yeah, absolutely. That Ogre Axe is one of those items that if I come across it in a situation like this, that's gonna flip a switch in my mind that says, okay, I'm in a position where if I were to go make the Ordeals check now, I would get a decent payoff insofar as that Paladin Cecil. That's going to be a good enough weapon that he's going to start being able to contribute, decent enough damage. So it's one of those things where it might make our racers start to look at that Ordeals play a little more seriously now.
Yeah. And Rex, by the way, his shopping and looting has not been for nothing. He's honestly, if I have a starting base level 2 Edwards and a Dark Knight Cecil, he's living the dream. A dancing dagger on each Edward and the black Deathbringer sword on Cecil. I would be very happy taking this party into most overworld fights at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. That's basically best in slot for those characters at this point. I believe, just checking Scratchdragon's screen, that there was a Dwarf Axe in the back of Tomra, which is really good news for any of our melee characters once they get up and running. That allows them to set the back row bit on them that in this game never actually gets removed. So once you're back row capable in this game, that's all you need. You're good to go. You're always going to be doing back row damage.
Absolutely. A few notable other bosses. We do see Rubicante in the Fabul Gauntlet slot. Actually kind of a pretty rude fight with this team, but I think with enough life potions and dancing daggers, he'll get through just fine. There was a Vanilla Leviathan and a Mylon and friends at the Asura spot. So honestly, Feymarch boss is not that bad this seed, but we still don't have a team where I'd want to tackle them quite yet.
Yeah, at this point, it's just a numbers game. It's getting the team with the amount of damage output and the hit points you need to get through that. Yeah, Mylon, regular Mylon at Asura, not a terrible fight whatsoever. Always fun to get Mylon in some of those later spots where he's still just going to be using Lit 1 on you. But just a matter of just getting the strength to be able to get through that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Aizen here, slowly but surely, winning the battle of attrition with Rubicant. Again, having a stack of life potions are one of those items that are just guaranteed to be in an ungated shop, and they let you win these fights. Maybe not the fastest way through, but you'll eventually break through. And we're about to see that Fabul King key item.
Yeah, one of the earliest lessons that was taught to me when I started running Free Enterprise was there is nothing in this game you can't accomplish with a stack of Cure 3s and life potions.
Pretty much.
And it's the pan, my personal favorite item. That unlocks a lot of checks, especially since we have access to the underworld and therefore that monk to whack.
So that's actually pretty nice. I don't... Oh, also, hello there, Miss Dragon.
Miss Dragon. Is that the antlion spot, it looks like?
I believe so. Which, wasn't it there last night as well? Is this 2 in a row with a demisted antlion from our restreamer, Tarasu, pardon me. And a tower key.
Tower key.
Last night we could not find a key item to save our lives, and today we're just drowning in them.
Yeah, that's very true. It's interesting because a lot of these are they're getting a lot of, with the tower key and the pan just now, a lot of things that are really capitalizing off that very early magma key. So it's like we mentioned earlier, all of our runners on very different parts right now. Just a lot of diversion because of that.
Yeah, and Scratch here making the initial dive, looping underground to talk to Yang in the Sylph Cave bed. Unfortunately, when he sees that pan at the king spot, may feel a little twinge of disappointment. It turns out the seed, if you want to only visit Fabul twice and Sylph Cave once, you got to do the Fabul check first. Scratch will end up having to do 2 apiece, whereas Aizen, I don't think, went to Sylph Cave, so he'll be able to get away with only doing 3 combined dips instead of 4.
Ooh, speaking of ordeals being a play, Excalibur is being granted by Mrs. Rydia today. That's definitely making me think, okay, I need this Cecil to be a paladin ASAP.
Oh, absolutely. We have the Dwarf Axe for easy peasy back row glitching. We have fantastic armor. There was a whole bunch of Dragoon armor in play, at least in Dwarf Castle, that Rex picked up. So if Rex can get there and deal with those 3 Ordeals bosses, well, the first 2, he'll be loving that paladin life.
Yeah, that is going to be a huge relief after this, relatively rough start as far as characters go. That's, Excalibur Cecil is just one of those things that can carry your team. You can build your whole team around it, especially now that we also know that Rosa is in play in Baron N. Just pick her up and you basically have a power couple that can take you all the way to Zeromus.
Oh yeah, anyone who's done a Cataseed can Excal Cecil plus Rosa. All right, game over. We've got this. But of course, you're not just playing a seed by yourself for fun. You do still have 3 other racers to contend with. So maybe just doing just the 2 of them, not the best idea in this situation. We'll have to see how it plays out.
Scratchdragon getting his own pan here.
Yeah, gonna be like, oh, I have to go back there again. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Oh yeah, Simbu, Scratch are both gonna have to do that double dip. But I think Aizen and Rex have both managed to avoid it.
And there is a spoon granted by Sheila there.
2 eddies and not a spoon flag in sight.
It really is a shame.
It does at least count towards our 10 key items for double XP. And, you can sell it for a decent bit of cash. And if we find an edge, we can throw it for massive damage. So, yeah, you can't hate it. You didn't have to do that much work for it. You just had to walk a few squares. So, it's fine. This is fine.
But those 2 bards are going to be looking forlornly at that piece of cutlery right there and just wondering what could have been in an alternate world.
So getting a little crisscrossing back and forth now. Scratch dealing with the Mylon Sea to get the Dark Knight Cecil. Simbu and Rex both high-fiving here at the Fabul Gauntlet spot dealing with Ruby. And Aizen, meanwhile, forging new territory, climbing ordeals. Let's see if this team can handle these bosses and power up that Cecil.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting to see what bosses that we see here. I feel like Aizen's got enough gear under his belt that he should be able to handle this, but with 3 bosses to have to get through, you can always throw a curveball at you on here that you're just not suspecting.
Yeah, and I know we've seen life potions. Several of our racers have stacks of those. I would personally like to have Cure 2s. I would like to have those illusions that Rex is rocking. That Moon Veil, that'll help a bunch.
Oh, absolutely.
And of course, Star Veils, just in case it's any of those bosses that you really want to reflect the magic onto. Let's see what we're dealing with, and maybe we'll get a peek at Aizen's inventory as well.
It's from the moon, whatever it is.
Oh no!
Well,
oh, no. Beautiful, beautiful seed, Tarasu. Beautiful, beautiful seed. With enough Cure 2s, you'll be able to win the Battle of Attrition here, but I don't think I see a single one. Aizen's Rocket has 2 Cure 3s, but there's about 3,000 HP to chew through here.
Yeah, and you're getting a blaze counter on every single one of those dancing daggers. It is just, ugh.
Yeah. This is going to be rough. It's definitely doable. The nice thing, though, is that Ogopogo, aside from the counters, will just use physical attacks, and this spot has really bottom tier physical attack. It shouldn't be hitting the team that harshly, but still, getting this 3,000 damage in before your team wipes from counters and big waves, it's going to be a little chancy.
Yeah, Aizen putting up a valiant effort here, but I just do not think he has the quite enough damage here.
Yeah, because there's going to be waves that come out. I think one more Dancing Dagger would actually do it. If Aizen can throw one of these Cure 3s in time, or let's see, does this one finish it?
Well, that shut me up.
Skin of his.
Wow.
Oh,
And that is just such good game knowledge there to be able to, because you know he was counting the damage. He knew that he was that one dancing dagger away from taking that victory. That's why he didn't go for the heal there. He just went for the kill. That is just phenomenal play there by Eizantayama.
But one problem though, I don't think I've seen a single tent or cabin or cures other than those Cure 3s in his inventory.
And the cavalcade of Lunar bosses continues here with Pale Dim.
Aizen can handle this through Battle of Attrition plus Dancing Dagger. But you might want to put your characters in there. There we go. Yeah, Kluya came from the moon and apparently brought a whole posse of lunar bosses to guard his tomb at that. But yeah, with a stack of 54 life potions, Aizen's going to eventually break through here just through sheer attrition.
Yeah, there's nothing Pale Dim can do to wipe out his entire party at once like Gogopogo could. So this is just a matter of time before he takes the win.
Scratch, meanwhile, wanting to pick up Rosa Bay, is over here dealing with Water Hag in the Baron Inn.
We're getting a slightly canon appearance of Anna here, though I don't think she remembers having 2 boyfriends in life.
She just dated the entire band. Oh, did Scratch instantly reset? Scratch instantly reset upon seeing that Val fight.
Wanted nothing to do with that. So much for the available Rosa.
That is, however, one of the 6 Valvolus spots that does not have magic defense. So if you were to say buy a stack of those vampires down in those illusions in Dwarf Castle, or those vampires in Tamra, that fight's not so bad. Illusions will protect you from her physical attacks. Other than that, she won't go that fast. It's a very slow spot, and she can't punch you to death if you have an illusion up. So there's definitely ways of dealing with that fight.
Yeah, that's a very good point. It would probably take at that spot maybe about 6 or so vampires to get through all of that.
Yeah, it's like 4,000 HP or so, if I remember correctly. So doable. It'll cost you a bit of cash, but we have ways with dealing with Valvolus at that spot.
And a defense sword for from the Sylphs there would be a little more exciting if we didn't already have access to that Excalibur, but still a pretty phenomenal sword if a second Cecil or Kane shows up.
Oh yeah, as far as sheer attack power goes, I believe it is Kane's second strongest weapon, even better than his Dragoon Spear. And for Cecil, I believe it's number 3 after Crystal and Excal. I think it's a little better than the lightsaber. Aizen's still working through this Pale Dim Battle of Attrition. It's going to take a hot minute to get through, but again, no actual threat to his team, just by sheer staggering number of life potions in his inventory. Mirror Claw. There is a name distinguishers option in the custom menu. You can either do base names, where if you get two of the same character, they'll have the exact same name. You can do distinguishers, where it'll put a random letter or alphanumeric at the end of them, so you can tell them apart. And then there's silly names, which will change letters at the start and ends of names to make them well, kind of like what you see on Aizen's stream.
And Simbu becomes the King of England, and looks like he's gonna make a go at that Baron Inn spot, and is gonna unfortunately find Volvalis waiting for him.
Rex here apparently has done his homework, knows that these dancing daggers will hit through her tornado. The main thing's going to be her punches are going to hit like trucks, and of course her weak and ray abilities will be a little annoying. But his eddies are going so fast here, and even his Cecil's hitting with that black sword. I think Rex has this fight on lock.
Yeah, something I hadn't considered was that Dancing Dagger does do magic damage, so it's actually getting through on that Volvalis. This is actually really, really smart play here by rexxraul.
Yeah. Oh, and Scratch does have 5 vampires in his inventory. I guess he just... If you have enough Legend Sword on Ordeals, not only are we getting our Paladin, there's half our Crystal. Required, great place to visit this time of year. I recommend a little mountaineering if you got it in you.
And that is a very interesting vanilla Legend Sword. Most players like to avoid that Ordeals play if at all possible because of how much of a slog it can be with all the bosses you have to go through, but you know, the seed giving a hint to our players with the easy access to Cecil and the Excalibur, saying you might want to go to Ordeals, and sure enough, there is the first hint of the end of the game there.
Yep. Yeah, I was gonna say, sometimes you have enough bad experiences with Val and you try to avoid her like the plague, but Rex knocks her out. Simbu about to do the same. Both gonna get their Rosa, and they get the package, which I will honestly be shocked if any of our racers bother getting the package character this time, but it does again count towards our 10 key items, which, holy crap, we're getting key items out the wazoo this season.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see. A lot of times in these these KQM seeds, with all of those possible locations for key items, they tend to be bunched up in like places like the moon that aren't really accessible until later in the game. But yeah, this is a surprising wealth of key items early in the game.
And of course, now having his Paladin Cecil online, Aizen's going to be ripping through some of these other bosses that are that is a competition had to more slowly work through, like the Val fight, for instance. Excal, Cecil, Zeus gauntlets. Oh baby, we are about to see the DPS coming out of that Paladin.
Absolutely, and that's going to open up a lot of those bosses that we had to pass on earlier. The Fey March is now in play. As soon as he gets a couple levels under Cecil's belt there, especially that vanilla Mylon, or excuse me, not vanilla, the Mylon 1 on Astura spot is definitely looking like a juicy target to take down at this point.
Oh yeah. Scratch here doing a very similar battle of attrition with Pale Dim to what Aizen did. Now, Rex and Simbu, when they make it up Ordeals, they're going to have a little bonus here in the form of Rosa. And I did see Rex throwing a heroine robe on her, and it might have been an elven bow. So she's actually going to be bringing DPS to this party as well.
Always fun when you get to unlock Rosa's archer side. People kind of sleep on just how much damage she can actually contribute to a fight. You know, white magic is great and all, but if you can kill an enemy before it has a chance to damage you, then that's even better.
I like the Rex's team name. Qualifiels, qualified. Excellent party arrangement. And Scratch is through that Pale Dim fight. We'll be getting his Paladin online very soon. Looks like he stopped in. Aizen appears to have stopped in Tamra to buy a few more sirens. Looks like he's going to be powering up this paladin here. I'm surprised. Oh, he may not have wanted to risk a rude second fight in Baron Inn quite yet. May just do an egg, make Cecil be ridiculously overpowered, and then go pick up Rosa. Theoretically, we'll see.
Yeah, might be wanting to maybe set up a little bit of a slingshot on Rosa, especially if he goes in and does one of those Fey March bosses or something that has a really high XP value. You really get her up to speed very quickly. Not a bad idea.
Oh, could also be if you go. We have the Baron key. Why go back to Baron multiple times when you can just be ready to grab Rosa and storm the castle all at once? Another possibility. Lots of options in play. Baron key, tower key, not terrible Fey March bosses.
Yeah, it's very rare to see a seed like this just be so very open and just have so many viable choices to make right from the get-go. It's been very interesting to watch how our runners approach this.
All these high fives up here. No one is going to leave that Paladin Cecil on the shelf. So now Aizen gets to make the choice. What is next? Where's the new ground that we're going for?
And it looks like...
I was wondering when he flew west there from like, what?
Well, maybe he wants to go get some chests over in the in Evelyn Castle,
No, you have Excal Cecil. Nobody's doing that. Baron play makes a lot of sense here. You can round out your team a little bit. You can even get 2 characters if you're willing to go ahead and dive into the castle. But did he ever actually pick up Cure 2s or anything? Because that was one of his big issues on Ordeals, was having to rely just on life potions to keep his team going. So I'm wondering if he's going to actually make some more item checks after this, or just go straight into the castle.
He might be thinking, well, I'm getting Rosa now. I'm going to get some levels under her belt. There's all the healing I need. And, well, you got a Paladin, so you got some Cure 2s there. So.
Oh, yeah. Those Paladin Cure 2s, the healing that we all want to rely on.
It's a shame one of the best casting animations of the game is wasted on that.
I mean, it could be worse. You could be like poor Kane and have a casting animation that doesn't even get to be animated in the game. Rex doing one quick safety save, just in case worse comes to worse in this room. We know it's just the Calbrena fight.
Yeah, not much to worry about there, but there can be some sneaky stuff. I've run into plenty of wyverns inside of the Kluya Shrine, so you never know.
Ooh, and already having to face off with the inventory final boss of the game. There's a lot of great gear in this game, and there's not a whole lot of places to put it, especially when you only have 2 eddies taking up slots on your team. It's like, well, what if I get, this character? What if I get this character? And until you have kind of rounded out your final team, it's not surprising to see someone pack ratting it up a little bit.
Absolutely. That is I know something I struggle with a lot, the what if game, especially on these sort of flag sets where you really don't know what kind of characters you're going to get. It's one of the reasons I actually liked playing C5 for a bit, because I knew exactly what I could throw out and what I couldn't.
Well, I wish I had that luck. When I play C5, it's always I get my first 4 characters, and then the 5th one is hiding in the Giant of Babel or behind the Hook, and the Hook's on the moon. Any number of things like that. I guess at that point you just say I'm taking the team of 4 and roll with it, though. So Scratch here doing a bit more grinding of his Paladin than Aizen did, I think. And Aizen has picked up that Rosa and is heading into Baron Castle. Play makes a lot of sense here. You've already landed at the town. There's a 5th character in here. There's 2 bosses, one of which more attentive racers and players would have taken note of when being handed that magma key at the start. So I dig it.
Yeah,
I dig it. Makes a lot of sense.
I believe it was Dark Knight Cecil is sitting in the Bygone spot.
Yes, because it was so funny to see the double Eddie and then the Pain Man. So that spot won't do too much damage. It'll probably knock off Rosa. The Edwards can both hide from it, of course, but that Paladin Cecil should survive 3 Dark Waves with ease.
Oh, absolutely. And interesting to point out that one hidden chest at the right of the waterway entrance did have a stack of Artemis arrows. So Rosa's got some ammunition in her back pocket if he needs to pull out that ranger.
Yeah, it was the Pan items, Blaze, were the Sylphs gave defense sword, and Sheila 2 was a drain spear. So remarkable, and Sheila's first item was a spoon. So Sylph Cave not really bringing the value today.
I know you're not disrespecting the drain spear.
Look. We need to stop using straws like that. They're bad for the environment. I guess that's technically a reusable straw when you get down to it. And that's it hurts true. About as bad as one. Oh yeah, both Eddies got the hide off. And after that third one, we're gonna see, yeah, there's the life potion to make sure Rosa catches up on XP just a little bit here.
Yeah, very well timed. Basically as perfect as that fight could have possibly been, so good job on eizantayama's part.
Someday we will see. And now, show me. Let's have a wyvern on the throne. Just let's go.
Oh, speaking of disrespecting the drain spear, Simbu throwing it out during his own inventory up in the top left. Oh goodness, the disrespect on display by our runners today is just.
That was a gift.
Now I'm imagining regifting the drain spear to Sheila on her birthday.
Oh, we do have a Lunar boss here. Oh, baby. Come on.
There's only 2 left, I think. There's 3.
Yeah, Plague, Wyvern, and these Lunars.
Shouldn't be much of a problem here. I wouldn't be surprised if Paladin Cecil one-shots one of them, but...
Oh yeah, I would just swing away probably. Well, maybe you do a dancing dagger or 2 just to drop it a little bit, but oh come on, you got the X-Cal, do it. Don't be afraid.
I mean, I can't blame him for playing this safe, because that is a walk of shame back if something does go wrong. But yeah.
Well, he did take the safety save in the Barren Waterway, I believe. So.
Well, not quite enough damage, huh? I never was very good at math.
I didn't mean to steer you wrong, Aizen. I didn't.
Oh dear.
Oh, this is.
Oh no.
So, you know, sometimes even if you have a holy sword that's going to do bonus damage, you really have to consider your options. Maybe you should just use dancing dagger.
But you are right. He did take that safety save, so this isn't as bad as it could be.
I'm curious now. I'm double checking the HP at that spot because I think he was really, really close to getting that.
It had to have been close. I think it's around 4,500 or something like that.
It is exactly 2,000 per dragon. It's 4,000 total.
Wow.
So he had to have been just a few HP short. That is extra painful.
Yeah, it was about a 70 or 80 damage hit from the dancing dagger or something like that. So yeah, that's single to double digits right there.
Meanwhile though, Rex here finding himself a mop in the Dwarf Castle supplies closet. Already having Quake, already having some tier 3 spells. I say, whatever, let's just take the 2 Eddies. Our team is fine. We got X-Cal Cecil, Rosa Bay, and the Mop. Yeah, I'm feeling good about this team in spite of the start.
And it is the nice on a hot summer day like today, the nice orange creamsicle flavored mop.
Oh, delicious. If we did have the GW, the Warp Glitch flag on, Rex would have been very thankful to see Fu learn Warp right after this fight. Of course, no freebies. If you want that sealed cave item, you got to get the Luca key and walk down, sadly.
Ooh, that is a nice palette color for Golbez's hand, though. A nice obsidian black there.
So regardless of what is around Luca's neck, I dare say this is going to be a pretty nice... just getting the Fu alone is a pretty nice bump.
Yeah, that's and yeah, Dragoon Lance probably not going to come into play at this point, but Fu definitely the prize to be taken there.
I love the idea of this dwarven princess wearing a human-size dragon lance around her neck. Like what? It's stylish. Deal with it.
I think that sounds like a pretty dwarven thing to do to me.
Scratch, meanwhile, did not have the same issues in Baron Castle that Aizen did. Gonna see what's in the pot. Oh, baby.
Ooh, that's huge.
This seed is wide open now with that darkness crystal. You still have in the back of your mind, though, we know it's two very doable Fame Arch bosses. We have the tower key, so Lower Babel is also a 2-for-1. But we've already found one part of the crystal on Earth. We only need the adamant to be in go mode. Lots of checks available on the moon.
Yeah, we're at just shy of the 40-minute mark, and virtually every spot on the map is open to our players now. This is pretty incredible.
I would ask where are all the hook seats at, but that just means that I'll get them in my matches this coming week.
And scratchdragon taking a peek at Odin here, and ooh, another instant reset, and don't blame him in the slightest.
That's also not that bad a spot for Kenatsu, though, once you gain some levels. That's a situation where I'd be inclined to leave it in waveform, because that spot only has about 20,000-ish HP, which means the wave, even at full health, is only doing about 1,000. Cecil can tank that easily, and if you get in some good hits with that Excalibur, it drops down significantly very quickly. So I'd like to see it there rather than in like a 65,000 HP spot like the Lunar Dragons. But it is very, very fast. So that is definitely something to give you a pause.
Yeah, you have a very good point as far as just the HP totals. But yeah, it's just a matter of getting the HP to be able to withstand a couple turns of those waves, which unfortunately they just don't have right now. But after a trip to the moon, if nothing turns up there, then yeah, definitely wants to keep that in his back pocket as an option to check later.
Yeah. Rex here, after picking up the Fu and the Dragoon Spear, running through Baron Castle, so he'll be getting his Darkness Crystal shortly after eizantayama. I like this even more since we did get the Fu. This will be 2 more bosses, gets him up to 1,700 HP, and just 1 more spell set to go after that. So this will be interesting to see. Rex and Simbu have both kind of lost a little time by virtue of Dwarf Castle not having any key items, but they gained a Fu, and Fu is just ridiculous, especially when we fought as many bosses as these racers have.
Right. Once you've made the Ordeals play and you find a Fu later, it really kind of, even if you had a good reason to do it before, which our racers all have with Legend Sword now being found there, it really just kind of makes you feel even better about making that play, because that's an extra 3 bosses that are powering up that Fu. I think when rexxraul found Fu, he was sitting at like 1,500 HP. I think it's 1,600 now. So yeah, very, very close to getting full power, and that can really make the moon trivial once he gets his full assortment of spells.
And Rex here, already having Zerk on Rosa, and probably on Fu as well, loading up Pestle with it, and yeah, this one will do the one-shots. So, Rydia in Baron Castle, Porum on the moon, all these young children popping up out of nowhere. Does elect to keep Porum, but ditched Rydia. I'm surprised that Scratch didn't get rid of one of the Edwards in this situation.
Yeah, Liz is a little curious, but probably thinking just, there's a little more I can do with Edward with hide strats than I can with Rydia, who I'm honestly not going to get to well, actually, you know what? Yeah, that is a little. I'm really not sure.
I mean, maybe he's, everyone has, the one character they disrespect, some people are like, oh, I think Yang is just garbage, or oh, I'm never taking Porum. And if you have that character, let it suit your play style, dunk on them all you want, but if you regret your decisions down the line, you have to live with them.
Yeah, that's true. That's very, very true.
So Simbu knocks out, by the way, finds Baigen in the tower cannon room where you'd normally find the Dark Imps. Very great place to find Baigen. In Lunar spots, he can be rude as heck when he has tons of HP, and of course, restoring his arms, they end up getting extra hits as well, so great find there. But of course, we know the way to the moon is back in Baron. If Simbu can find, say, Adamant and Pass here, he takes a huge resounding lead. If not, he may be falling a little bit behind our other racers.
Yeah, but with 2 key item checks, there's always a strong possibility he gets something here that gives him an edge on the other racers. But now that we know where that darkness crystal is, my money is on the moon being the key to this seed. But we'll see. It could be really interesting if something does fall in Simbu's lap here.
Yeah. Odin at this spot, by the way, not the worst place. The physical attacks will still do a decent bit of damage, but the actual Odin multi-target attack will do very little damage. Baigen spot, notoriously low magic attack, and with the HP and defensive gear, I don't think Simbu's going to have any trouble here. Yeah, Swimmy making a good point in chat. It's a lot easier to go moon if you have that Fu in your party.
Oh, 100%. That Fu just basically is like Rosa and Cecil together, especially as well equipped as Cecil as, would make the moon very possible. But that Fu is sort of like the clincher there that makes you feel, okay, I feel entirely comfortable making this play.
Absolutely. Rex now doing his pan route, going to be a little disappointed in the loot from it. Simbu cleans up that Odin before it even gets a full swing out. And the key item up here is... Ooh, that's spicy.
Well, that is just like you called. So if there's an adamant sitting in this super cannon spot, it's unlikely. But if it is, then Simbu has found the way to circumvent the entire moon here.
Oh yeah, if I'm Simbu at this point, I am not, and even if I do go Baron, I'm not going to the moon yet. I will take the chance. I will clean up that Odin spot with the Kenatsu. I will knock over those 2 Feymarch bosses, and I will try to pull out every stop to go ahead and get everything done. No, because you have to do the cutscene in Mysidia where they spawn the whale, the cutscene to fly to the moon, the cutscene to get your character, which admittedly not that important this seed. Porum when we already have Rosa, no thank you. You have to go through a lot of extra time, and you only have one little piece left.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Simbu, of course, has not had eyes on the darkness crystal yet, so he does not know that some of the other racers might be making a moon play anytime soon, or that moon play is even on the table. So it'll be interesting to see if there is no adamant here, what he decides to be his next play.
Absolutely. Oh,
ooh,
well,
and there's another option.
so every chain, not every chain, but so what chains are left? There could still be a hook plus rat tail combo, and there could still be the Luca key. Those are the only things Earth crystal.
Yeah.
So lots of paths still available, and this Earth has been very key item dense. I like Simbu making this play as well. With the Fu that he has, with the loaded Paladin Cecil, I think both these fights down here are more than doable.
Absolutely. Scratchdragon is going up the tower now. He is about to get his pass, And then he's going to have an interesting conundrum because he does have the darkness crystal. He does have that moon path available. So now with the pass in his pocket, he's going to be like, huh, well, do we want to go to the moon? Do we want to check all those spots, or do we want to try to bank on this being a very terrestrial seed here?
Oh, and by the way, Nuke being in Fu's final spell batch doesn't have it quite yet. It does have Holy though, and saw Simbu moving that up to the top of the inventory of his spell list. So I feel a little bad for what's about to happen to this Mylon and friends.
I think you mean white, Invenerable. We can't have any religious reference. Super.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. And of course, we can't actually have any characters who get killed, so they're just swooning. Deathbringer's sword is just the black sword.
Children play this game, Inven. Come on.
And we appear to have lost Rex momentarily. Hopefully we'll get him back soon. I thought he was staring at that inventory management a little too long there.
I mean, sometimes you're staring so long at your inventory that you just black out. I totally understand it. It happens all the time to me.
But yeah, this is going to be kind of the big divider, I think, in a lot of these round of 32 matches. And it's a situation where, so there's always the moon gamble, which if I don't have the pass, I will go straight to the moon. But if I have the pass and I've not spawned the whale, I am so inclined to try to find that last bit of the puzzle on Earth. If I still have 2 key items to go, both halves of the crystal, I'll go to the moon in a heartbeat. But there's just something about the prospect of avoiding, 4 cutscenes that appeals to me so drastically.
Yeah, entirely agreed. It's the moon can be so potentially dense with key items, and not just key items, but just experience. Oftentimes, if you're going to the moon and you're mid-level, you can walk out of the moon without any need to grind whatsoever. But that involves so much walking, so many cutscenes you've got to get through to do that it really becomes an interesting time management game. Like, what is actually the most efficient thing to do here? And the runners that are at the the top echelon, like that are going to be in this league, are runners that have proven that they can manage that time the most effectively.
One thing, though, that definitely, well, now that I think about it, one thing that would motivate a moon check, though, think about what free bosses we've seen. We've not seen King Queen Evelyn. We've not seen Dark Imps. We've not seen Kaipo guards. We've not seen Baron guards. So all 4 of the major free fights are still in play. So
Yeah.
that part does kind of motivate me to go chase Moon, I think.
That actually is a very good point. The only very famously free fight that we have seen is Water Hag. We've also seen Dark Knight Cecil, which can be free depending on where he's located. In this particular seed, a relatively free fight. So yeah, that's actually a very, very interesting point. There's a lot of potentially harmless fights out there that could make for an expedited moon run. And Aizen, being the hero that chat demands, making that music check here in Cave Magnus.
Oh yeah, Tarasu, if you're listening, I know we're trying to get Rex back up, but I bet we'd also like some Twin Heart music if you can swing it for us. You are the greatest.
Yeah, well, we got the opportunity. Big shout out to our restreamer here, Tarasu, and our tracker, Rinit, both doing an excellent job here today, making sure the stream is in tip-top form for everybody, all the information up there. So huge thanks to both of them for getting everything running today.
And while you are enjoying that music, don't forget to give all our runners a follow today. They're all putting on a great show for us, and I'm going to zip it for the next 30 seconds or so. Chad enjoying those Final Fantasy X tunes, and I'm a little surprised Simbu is going for Baron here. We do have kind of that perfect little loop that you can do. We have Twin Harp, which when you're done with that puts you outside of Troya. Then you can do Earth Crystal, which then puts you outside of Baron. So it'll be interesting to see if Simbu decides to pursue those or just go for the Darkness Crystal once he gets through here.
Yeah, we'll add for eizantayama that it's a little appropriate that the Maguses show up with Final Fantasy X music.
They did make their second big appearance in that game, of course.
MIDI had a much cuter outfit in 10. I will admit to that.
And of course, although we've not gotten Rex's stream back up yet, all our racers were reminded 5 minutes prior to the start of the race to do their local recording. So they will be able to, if proof called, as long as it wasn't, just catastrophic power outage or something of that sort. So fingers crossed we do get Rex back up and we are aware of his status going forward. But for now, we still have 3 other racers putting on a good show, so just hang with us, and hopefully we'll get that tech stuff sorted out presently.
And we have the adamant. That is go mode for eizantayama.
No need to go to the moon at all this scene.
So your gut instinct was correct, Invenerable. This was a completely Earthborn seed.
Yeah, I mean, there were just so many options, so many doable bosses. But the one thing to note here is that Aizen hasn't fully rounded out his team like some of our other racers have. He doesn't have that Fu. He's really just kind of mainly rocking the Cecil and the Rosa. And he does not have 10. Well, hold on. 3, 6, 9. Okay. When he forges his crystal, he will be at 10. So, grinding Sirens, not the worst thing. You could even probably get Rydia up to nuke if you really, really, really wanted that extra damage boost.
Yeah, if I'm in Aizen's spot right now, I would be thinking egg grind up to a reasonable amount for both Cecil and Rosa, and then I'm just going to do Berserk Cecil strats healing with Rosa through Zeromus. Maybe not the fastest Zeromus kill, but at 56 minutes in go mode, that doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah, that's true. And especially because you've seen the Darkness Crystal. You know it will bait some of your opponents probably. So going with those, Kata Seed strats, 1 melee, 1 white mage, I like it. I like it a lot.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you have Cecil as kitted out as he is with the Zeus gauntlets, the Excalibur, some really good armor. He's going to be doing appreciable damage in this.
Oh yeah, I think he has a black belt gi on as well, which is just even more. And if you want a white shirt for Rosa, boom, Nicole has the hookup. Yeah, this is going to be a pretty fun finish going on here. And I do see that rexxraul has rejoined the RC channel, so hopefully that means his internet's back up. Still not streaming yet, though.
With any luck, as you said, he's been playing this whole time, he's got the look and everything, will still be able to put up a decent finish here.
So Scratch here working through this Leviathan fight will give him the Earth Crystal and another potential distraction. Let's see what Simbu does now that he has his Darkness Crystal.
Looks like he wants a piece of Odin.
with this team. I think he'll be able to handle it. And throwing that Rydia in the middle, going ahead and planning to have a relatively slow agility anchor. So this may actually be a good thing for Simbu. If this, well, for one thing, if this gives him another check to make on Earth, it may save him from going to the moon. But I think, I mean, this is absolutely Aizen's race to lose at this point.
Yeah, where all the other runners are, it's essentially, obviously Aizen doesn't know specifically where he is compared to the other runners. Given what he's seen of the key items, though, he's got to think he's in a good position because he knows that Darkness Crystal's in play. He knows that's a potential check that other people are wasting time on. So he's got to know he's got some sort of like really strong position here. So, I mean, goodness gracious, V1 go mode at less than an hour is just absurd.
We do have Rex's stream back, and based on those save times, it looks like it may have been a full computer crash. Because 36 minutes last save versus 59 minutes now. Ooh.
Yeah, that in-game time often slower, but not by that much.
Aizen working on that grind. Simbu gets is every key item. Okay, I'm not a witch, I promise. I'm just saying the seed felt like every key item was on the blue planet.
What could possibly be on the moon right now? It could be, I guess, the Sand Ruby could be on the moon.
Yeah, Sand Ruby, Hook, and both tails.
Both tails, yeah.
Out there, but. So one thing of the rules is that if a player requests a restart during a race, because of a technical issue arises, the other players have the right to accept or deny that request at their discretion. And if all agree to a reschedule or restart, a new seed will be rolled. So we'll see if that is Rex's option. He's not said anything in the RC channel yet, so again, it would not surprise me. Especially given Aizen's situation, if such a request were declined, but it is a possibility. It is accounted for in the rules.
Yeah, and especially this early on in the league, it wouldn't surprise me if rule just decides to roll with this. It's just the first match. There's still many to come, but yeah, that option is on the table. The community is definitely very understanding, very supporting. Given certain circumstances, there's a lot of goodwill between the runners here if that situation were to come up. But yeah, I don't think Aizen would want his turbo jet seed taken away here.
Yeah, he especially given that Aizen may not even feel like he's in that great of shape at this point. He escaped that Ogopogo fight by the skin of his teeth. His Pildim fight was a little slow. Baron, he took a wipe at the Baron King fight even after having already done Dark Knight Cecil. So Aizen doesn't necessarily feel like he's in the lead right now. He may be panicking, maybe thinking, oh, they may be in the fight already. So the fact that he's rushing here instead of doing a little more grinding, I think speaks to that in some regard.
Yeah, that is actually a very good observation because he is at, I didn't see the exact levels, but it didn't seem like he was grinding for all that long on the egg. He did have the 10 key items, so it was going to, expedite that process quite a bit. But yeah, again, shouldn't have too much trouble here, but maybe going in at a little bit lower of a level than he normally would if he was feeling a little more comfortable.
But at an hour, 2 minutes, and roughly 30 seconds in, Aizen is entering the C fight, and that means we have a very important question to answer this fine Saturday.
Whose butt are we going to kick today?
Aizen, you tease. Get back in that fight.
Aizen, it's butt time. Come on.
Oh, is that going to be the new thing? It's going to be... it's Aizen, it's butt time. Okay. Can I quote you on that, Smaep?
Absolutely. Go right ahead.
It makes sense he left. He had left his Rydia unconscious during his grind to keep her agility low, to be his anchor. Did not, he nearly forgot to save, but he definitely forgot to rearrange his party. So putting her in the middle makes a ton of sense. This is going to be the Rosa and Cecil show. Maybe you hide your Edwards so that they can come out and pop a life potion if things go pear-shaped. But again, looking forward to seeing this OTP go to town on Zeromus.
Yeah, interesting to see the sub 2000 HP on Rosa. She does have that white robe, so she's going to have a lot of magic defense, but still not, like you said, going in maybe a little earlier than ordinarily would be comfortable with.
Hey, it's Meta Knight. Luckily, I don't think this one will be quite as overpowered as the one in Smash Brothers Brawl.
I was trying to formulate a very similar joke, so you beat me to it.
One of the Eddies doing a great job here, eating that counter, but ooh, goodness. Not getting a whole lot of actions in before that first big bang comes out, and it is already down to the Cecil Rosa show.
Yeah, that was a lot faster than I was anticipating there, so this will be... seems like a lot faster than even Aizen was anticipating. He's going to reset out and make some changes.
Yeah, maybe turn that battle speed down. Oh, okay. Rydia had already hit level 30. So, and he's not rearranging his party. He's about to have another rough Zeromus fight if he doesn't do something about that battle speed.
Yeah, I didn't catch when in the status screen what because it looks like Cecil's in the middle now, and what agility he was at.
Given if he's 45 or 46, it's perfectly fine to have Cecil as your anchor. And his Rosa was 45, so I think it's Cecil's around there.
Okay.
Our restreamer Tarasu peeking it. Cecil agility is 29. That's a fine setup, especially if you're getting that silk web off. This one should go a little better for him.
Yeah, if anyone relatively new to Free Enterprise is wondering what we're talking about, there's a factor called relative agility where in order to make the battle speed seem smooth and equal to regardless of players' agility, every agility is sort of averaged and rounded. There's a lot of black magic involving math involved. You sacrifice a goat and then you get your relative agility. Essentially, our runners are looking for certain agility breakpoints on our characters that are going to get them essentially a slower Zeromus in order to get more turns in compared to Zeromus, and therefore have an easier time with the fight.
So let's see how speedy these big bangs come out this time. Scratch, meanwhile, giving us some peeks at the moon. And ooh, speaking of free bosses, the karate, of course, after the second kick, Cecil can one-shot it as long as he's still standing at that point. So getting a little more baited by some of these spots. Not a fight that Scratch is going to reset out of unless he sees the dot done first.
Yeah, most certainly. Especially, like you said, with that, we do still have these story trigger fights. So yeah, getting Yang to get a little ouchie in there, and that is done.
Yeah.
And Simbu, wow.
Yeah.
Goodness. Getting ready in a hurry. Simbu might also be feeling the pressure here. He might really feel like he's in a position right now where Aizen is exactly where he expects he is. But Simbu has a little bit better of a team going in here. He does have Fusonia, so he's going to have a little more leeway with how he approaches this. He's going to maybe have a little bit more firepower. It'll be easy to see, or it'll be interesting to see, rather, if that translates to a quicker fight. I hope Chad is ready to go camping, because this ending is going to be in.
So Aizen does have this setup here. Both eddies are hidden. They're just chilling in case things go terribly awry. And Cecil is doing pretty good damage here, hitting well over 2,500 per Berserk swing. Well, actually, that was an Unberserk swing. The black hole had just gone off. But Simbu here has a very great agility anchor with that level 1 Rydia.
Ooh, yeah.
And then having a full-powered Fu and a Rosa who I think is also wearing a white shirt. She only has about 1,600 HP. But again, you have the Fu back up. You have the Eddie who can hide and pop out to throw a life potion. This is going to be a nail-biter finish.
Oh, and that is a nasty big bang on Eizantayama's screen. Rosa goes down, getting the virus on Cecil, and that is going to be a wipe, unfortunately.
And that makes it Simbu's race to lose. Simbu overtaking Eizantayama here, given that wipe.
And that is very, very unfortunate there. And it's just one of those things where Big Bang has such a large degree of randomness to it that it can troll you. If you even, there's certain numerical breakpoints you can hit with HP, but sometimes it's just going to roll higher than you've got health to deal with.
Yeah. Aizen heading to Kaipo to the item shop. I wonder. Oh, he may be looking for Bacchus wines to make it an easier time zerking that Cecil.
Yeah, because any extra time you can have Rosa topping people off instead of having to reapply Berserk is going to be very helpful in his essentially 2-member team here. And on Simbu's screen, looks like Simbu has abandoned Rosa and it's just going with a pair of Lunarians here. Ooh, he's going to the moon to check the Hummingway abode there. And Simbu is in trouble now.
Oh, this is Meta Knight. I was talking that he may not quite be the S tier character he is in that particular Smash Brothers generation, and he seems to be intent on proving me wrong.
Yeah, this is crazy. One of those hidden eddies though is getting Cecil back up. Gets hidden back again, but no, unable to do anything before the Big Bang comes out.
Eddie here showing us his true power. What Simbu might do here, Simbu knows the script very, very well. He knows how many Big Bangs between viruses. He knows which Big Bangs are the 9-hit ones versus the 8-hit ones, which they hit for 200 to 3 damage per roll. So Simbu knows exactly when is the optimum time to heal up a Fu or a Rosa, let them do a cure, either Cure 3 potion, Cure 4 spell, maybe throw a Life 2, or he's just going to do sheer Eddie reflex strats and avoid the refill. That works as well.
Wow, this is something. I mean, there are very few people in the community that have put as much time and effort into understanding Zeromus as Simbu has. So if there is anybody that can clutch this out in such a situation, it's Simbu.
Oh yeah, he knows this script and knows it so incredibly well. But at the same time, it looks like he may be swapping. Okay, no. Okay. Fu does have a small problem of MP pool, though.
Yeah, and I didn't get a good look at the inventory, but I'm not sure what the ether situation is looking like.
But as long as Edward doesn't die, eventually this should work out.
Yeah, he's got to be very, very careful with his input. He doesn't have any room for a missed input, a wrong command, a mistiming here. This is all very, very precise. That is precise as you can get from a menu-based RPG.
Another concern I would have would be running out of star veils here, because, Anyway, Aizen coming back up here again, gonna give this fight another swing. Acid Shiver, he's messing with the star veils so that he can cast spells off of himself with the intention of avoiding the HP refill. If you do direct spellcasting, you will activate that refill if you don't finish it with that particular damage roll, whereas reflecting it, no counters are activated at all.
Right. It also avoids that counter nuke, which would be pretty devastating to his current setup.
Yeah. One Moon Veil to go.
Let's see if he can clutch this out.
And also the last nuke. If he has an elixir, he may be able to make some magic happen after this as well, but let's see. Does this do it?
Wow!
Simbu showing off those Z-strats like only he can. Very, very beautifully done. Finishing in first place with a 1 hour, 14 minutes, 41 seconds. Taking first in this race. GG's to Simbu. Very well done.
GG, and thanks to Simbu, not for just the great race, but for putting on a clinic on how to handle Zeromus. That was something.
So we'll see if we can get Simbu in here for an interview in just a moment.
And now that's going to be interesting for the rest of our runners, because all of our runners are in the IRC right now. Presumably they're all checking the IRC. They have all seen that dot done from Simbu. So we'll see if that affects any of their routing decisions here. But I think we are joined by the man of the hour himself, Simbu. GG.
Thank you.
So my first and foremost question is, when you went into that Z fight, did you intend to be quite so swagful as you ended up being, or was that kind of a backup plan?
I honestly wanted to direct cast that last nuke.
So swag it was, very nice.
But
I mean, you, based on your your inventory, you almost had to.
I mean, I did hate that early in the game I accidentally bought 4 or 5 extra silk webs instead of star veils because of a missed menu, which kind of hurt there. But other than that, everything went pretty good. Yeah, I was pretty sure I had enough, and if not, I was hoping I had either 2 so that Fu could cast Wall on himself. It's a pretty safe thing as long as you have a few things in your inventory to keep things going, but either way, it felt really good.
We were a little worried for you. Eizantayama was actually the first one in go mode, and then just had some difficulties with his Zeromus fight. He never got the Fusoya that a lot of people had.
Okay.
And when you cleaned out Feymarch and you started to head to Baron, we're like, oh no, Darkness Crystal's there. You know, what if it baits Simbu to Moon? But what made you decide to do Baron and then head up to Music instead of doing like the Music loop through Twin Harp, Earth Crystal, back to Baron?
I felt like I was ahead, honestly, so I was actually going for key items per minute, and I expected that I would have to go to the moon, but I still wanted just as many key item checks per minute as possible, so I wanted Baron and that turned up nothing, and then it was like, I've got Luca and Twin Harp, I'm going to go do those two and forget about Zot, and then I'll go and do the top bosses on the moon. But luckily it seems that I made the right choice, because I honestly didn't know how people were going to handle the double Eddie start. I felt like I played it really well with the looting, but I also got hung up on Ordeals for a little while just because I should have gotten Berserk on Rosa, and I didn't do that first.
Honestly, I definitely recommend re-watching the race when you get a moment, because I think all four of you handled this double Eddie DKC start admirably. Very well done. Slightly different strats on everyone's part, but no one really got hung up terribly anywhere, and it was honestly pretty impressive.
Okay.
And that was actually something I wanted to ask you about. Given how, right from the get-go, this was such an open seed, what was kind of going through your mind as far as like routing concerns? Like, because we saw basically different paths by all four restream runners here. What was kind of your thought when you get that start, you get the Magma Key right from the get-go, about how you wanted to approach it?
I was looking for sirens and coffins to get a few levels, because I felt like it would be really neat to get like 3 coffins worth of EXP on Eddie. But I didn't find coffins. I also think I didn't find Bacchus lines, which both of those were would have been really helpful for certain parts of the seed. But other than that, I just went through with the looting and went for mostly free stuff and stuff that I could get through with the J items I found. I looked a little bit for a dancing dagger and didn't find one, but I didn't look too hard. So I just got to the point where I had a heroine robe and a lunar staff, and it's like, there's an X-Cow now in play, so I might as well take Rosa and use her to just clean up until I get Cecil, and then let Cecil do everything from there.
Well, again, very well played. Great first place for your first race. When's your next match, and who are you going to be playing in it?
Actually on Monday. Let me see. I think it's with Hippo, Mecha, and let me double check. Yeah, Hippo, Mecha, and Kedril on Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Excellent, excellent. I think we are all set to have a pretty great doubleheader that night, so good luck on your upcoming race. Keep those first place finishes rolling in, and you'll be making the playoffs easy peasy at that rate. You have any final parting thoughts for us today?
Nope. I'm just glad I got to show off Eddie strats, even though they were completely unneeded, but as again, I thought I was ahead, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to go and just have fun, and I gotta say, I had fun with the double Eddie start. I enjoy the Eddies now. I used not to, but now I really enjoy Eddie.
He's having a bit of a renaissance right now, isn't he? Well, thanks so much, Simbu. It's been an absolute pleasure watching your match. Good luck in the league.
Yeah, thank you guys.
GG's. And meanwhile, with our other 3 racers, well, eizantayama still having some difficulty with that Zeromus fight, opting to do more grinding, powering this party up a hair further. Scratch has given up on the moon, either possibly noticed that dot done, figured it won't be anything else up here, let me head back to Earth, checking kind of the wrong spots right now. And Rex, sadly, with that time loss due to the computer crash, may not have a good idea of what remains, and of course playing from behind can be real tricky for him to figure out where to go the rest of the scene.
Yeah, and it's especially heartbreaking because he has everything in his inventory that he needs right now to get into Goma. He's got that harp, but activating the lunar whale right here looks like he's going to check the moon, and unfortunately that is just a huge decoy right here.
Yeah, and we did see during that interview several, again, relatively easy bosses on the moon. We saw Baron guards up there. We did see the Young fight up there. So, and meanwhile, back on Earth, some slightly more difficult fights compared to those.
Yeah. The one saving grace for rexxraul is after he's finished all those easy, he'll absolutely have the levels he needs to fight Zeromus, but that is all he's going to get on the moon is just delicious experience points.
Aizen here, about to give it the old college try again. Let's see if these bonus levels on his team makes this fight a little more reliable.
Yeah, he was on the verge of breaking through this fight. The extra levels under his belt right now should be everything that he needs to just put this fight away. So hopefully it's just elementary from this point.
And while Aizen gets this fight underway, so we spoke with Simbu and learned that his next match is this coming Monday night. Other upcoming matches, tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern on the Free Enterprise channel, we have a race between Dragus, rexxraul, Big Dunka, and Moonblaze Wolf. So all four of them will be squaring off. Rex hoping to recover from the technical issues today. Blaze looking to grab a few points after his opening race the other day. This will be Dragus and Big Dunka's first race of the round of 32. So if you want more Free Enterprise, come on out to the twitch.tv/Free Enterprise channel tomorrow at 7. Here on Limit Break, our friends over in the Dragon Warrior Randomizer community will be kicking off their summer race. So lots of great randomizer action here on the Limit Break channel this weekend.
Yeah, there's with everything breaking out right now and all of to get there, then this great time to be a Free Enterprise fan. We're just gonna have a lot of content coming your way, so definitely check it out.
Scratch here, gonna give us a show of the sealed cave item, which since Rattail was not on Moon, if it's down here, it's just gonna rabbit hole him even further.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I hope that's not the case, but we've seen most other spots, and I don't think we've seen the rat tail pop up. So, yeah. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Poor scratchdragon.
Aizen's fight going very, very nice this time, having a very strong Cecil and a Rosa with over 2,300 max HP. Yeah, I think this is going to be the one that gets Aizen that second place finish.
And there it is.
I swear, not a witch. Not a witch. I just have an uncannily strong commentator's curse. Oh, gosh. Every rabbit hole, Scratch just keeps falling down them left and right. This is rough.
And with the cutscenes in the two fights, not exactly the quickest fight to get through here with Dr. Lugai.
Yeah. Hey, Tirasu, you rolled this. don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, no, there is nobody racing off stream for the Highway to the Zima Zone. These are 4-person free-for-all races. So yeah, it is just these 4 people racing right now, as opposed to some of our community races where we've got more people racing off stream. Now, what you see is what you get today.
Yeah. I mean, you'll undoubtedly see other people who are competing in the event practicing on their streams, sometimes during these races as well. But the 4 people who are racing 4 points, 4 standing, are the 4 you see on this restream. Yeah, Tarasu, you're making me paranoid about my upcoming races. I may have to start altering my route, not based on my opponents, but based on who is rolling my seed. If it's a Tarasu seed, stay away from the moon. It will punish you. So it is down, well, 2 hidden Edwards and then the Cecil and Rosa show. These Cure 4s, of course, potent enough to max out 2 characters, the 2 active characters with ease. It looks like Aizen's just gonna Zerg Cecil, Cure 4 after Big Bangs, and we're gonna take this thing home. Lil Sharky, well, given that Tarasu was actually participating in the qualifiers, his kindness in seed rolling was off limits at the time. He had to deal with the likes of the rest of us. It is probably, by the way, a little unfortunate for Scratch that Aizen didn't finish the Zeromus fight on his first try. If Aizen had cleared out Zeromus when he was up here at the 1 hour 5 minute mark, Scratch and Rex probably would have both known the moon was a red herring.
Yeah.
That slight delay that let Simbu take first at the hour 14 mark kind of suggests, oh, we had the Baron key so early. Maybe it was on the moon. Maybe Simbu just dove to the right spot. Let me clear moon. And kind of threw him off the trail.
Yeah, it's certainly unfortunate, especially in Rex's case, because you know with the getting knocked offline there and getting put so far behind, there's less he can do with the metagaming there. But yeah, especially for Scratchdragon, you're probably getting mixed signals here from the lack of a dot done so far by eizantayama when he's been on that fight for, gosh, almost half an hour now.
Which just goes to show you, by the way, that although this is the one non-randomized spot in the game, it is no joke. There are several reasons, some programming, some design philosophy, why you will not find the Zeromus fight randomized elsewhere in the seed. It is set in stone, but it is no joke either.
And we see falling rocks, which is a good sign that we are getting close to the end here.
Oh yeah, those hits won't do. Oh well, there we go.
And GG to Aizen. Official time of 1 hour 29 minutes 51 seconds. GG, great finish there, taking second place in his opening match of the Highway to the Zemus Zone League.
And we'll see if we can get Aizen in here for an interview shortly. I'm sure his heart is pounding after those near misses with the Zeromus fight. I would probably want to take a breath of fresh air too before calming down. But still, clutching that second place victory in spite of those earlier difficulties. Great clinic on how to handle that Z fight after having a few setbacks. Rex dealing with the elements fight up here on the moon, and Scratch making yeah, like chat said, the 17 of 17 play will at least not go up Tower of Zot.
Yeah, we're avoiding a full 100% run here of our racers.
Yeah, it's 17 of 17. It's not quite 28 of 28. Scratch going to have an amazing time, by the way, still, for having gotten every key item in the game. Going to have cleared out this seed very quickly, very efficiently, especially given the double Edward start. So still great play by Scratch. It's just, you know, sometimes you commit to the moon and it doesn't pay off. Other times you commit to the earth and then everything you want was sitting at Wyvern spot. So.
And I believe we are joined by eizantayama. Eizantayama.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes, we can.
GG's.
That wasn't a GG for me.
The Zeromus seemed to go a little pear-shaped for you. What was going through your mind as you had to, you know, redo it, change strategy? Like, what were you looking for? How were you trying to make those adjustments?
Well, I figured I might have been all right if I had a Bacchus instead of having to use Rose of the Berserk. But initially, I should have just got her HP in the 2000s like I wanted to instead of just going right away.
Well, we definitely can't fault you for wanting to make the early play on it, because I don't know how much you've been practicing, but I dare say with a whole bunch of our qualifiers we've seen, our league races so far, you don't see a lot of seeds where you're in go mode at the 58-minute mark, right?
No, and it didn't help. I had bad, really slow fights on Ordeals and in Baron, so I was kind of rushing.
Yeah, well, double Eddy start will get you on that front anyway. So was that a situation like was it part those slower fights made you think, oh, someone else may already be in the fight, I need to hurry up and just go for it without doing all the grinding I want to do?
Sort of. I just felt behind because of how slow. I was like, someone's, because darkness was at Baron, so I was like, I feel so behind because anyone could be anywhere at that point. So my thoughts are kind of a mess right now.
Well, you took second place, so there's that at least, right?
I'll take it, but I wasn't happy with that. So.
Yeah.
Were you ever? Because I believe that you found that you had the darkness crystal when you went into the Tower of Babel. Is that correct?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So, at any point were you considering making the play to the moon, or did you really feel like, once you got that pass in the tower, was it just like, I'm checking everywhere on the Earth, or how tempting was it to make that moon play and versus staying on the Earth?
Well, if Tower didn't have anything, I was going to go to the moon afterwards and come back to the bosses in the summon spots if I had to. Because Tower was the last thing I had on Earth.
Gotcha. Yeah, because that ended up being one of the biggest deciding factors. So we had 2 runners on stream that never went to the moon, and 2 sidetracked by the moon. So that ended up being one of the huge deciding factors for you.
Well, Aizen, when is your next race? Do you have your second match scheduled yet?
Yes, I do. It's Wednesday night with you and I forget who's in it.
Oh, it is. Okay.
It's
Yeah, it's you, me, Baka Shinobi, and Peasants OMFG, and that one is scheduled for 8 p.m. Eastern, if I'm doing my math right. So that's Wednesday, July 31st, which that's also Aizen's birthday. So y'all make sure you come out and root him on and cheer him on. Just not too hard. I'm in that race too.
Yeah, well, hopefully it goes better than tonight. Today. All right, I'm going to head on, so.
Hey, take care. Have a great weekend, and I will see you on the field of battle this Wednesday.
See ya.
Take care, Aizen. Thanks so much for joining us. And looks like we're going to have our third racer heading for Zeromus here. Scratchdragon ready to go and is going into the fight right now.
So having on the 17 of 17, didn't really need to do any additional grinding at this point. Scratch's team is loaded for bear and is about to probably have the easiest time at the Z fight of any of our racers thus far. Scratch entering that Z fight. Rex up here dealing with Antlion on the moon. And again, I am very curious what would have come to pass for the metagaming on both Scratch's and Rex's part if we had seen like a 105, 106 finish by any of our racers.
Yeah, that would have probably removed the moon from contention for both of our other racers. They probably would have realized, yeah, there's no way anything is up here if people are posting those kind of times. But that's just the way free enterprise works sometimes. You get one person's misfortune can easily bleed onto the other ones if people are looking at those SRL times.
Well, Scratch, goes to work on this Meta Knight fight. Reminder for chat, if you want to get involved in racing free enterprise, we do have multiple community races each week. The round of 32 for the Zemus zone is set, but we have our alternate league, the Hummingway Open, with races starting in August. It's going to be a Swiss-style league. Still 4 players who match at a time, but you'll have a chance to be paired with people whose records match you. So if you're intimidated, be like, oh gosh, I don't want to race. I don't want to race that Simbu 9 fella. Aizen is too. No. Keep these people away from me. Well, come on out. It's a lot more casual. There's still a really fun prize for the winner of the whole shebang. Smape, are you going to be registering for the Hummingway Open?
Oh, absolutely. I just did earlier today.
Yeah, I believe you were traveling a bit during the actual Zemus zone quals, so didn't get to take as many swings at that as you might have wanted to, huh?
I took the swings that I took enough swings to realize that there are let's just say a lot of talented people in this community.
Gotcha. So yeah, if you're looking to race, that Hummingway Open is a thing. Make sure you join our Discord, and all the information to register and the rules and everything is pinned in the appropriate channels. So come on out, get racing, enjoy some Final Fantasy IV free enterprise.
Yeah, definitely a lot of fun. There's a lot of people here that are very, very willing to share their expertise, share their knowledge, and really get you in a good position where you're doing really well at the game. So everyone loves sharing knowledge around here. So definitely check things out.
And Scratch, by the way, not even bothering to zerk up his Cecil. He is going for the HP refill, it looks like, or pardon me, looking to prevent the HP refill. Just bouncing spells off of a Starvel here.
Yeah, it's a very interesting strategy that takes advantage of one of the limitations of Final Fantasy IV's engine, in that they wanted to give Zeromus a whole heck of a lot of HP, but they were kind of capped in how much HP they could actually give him. So Zeromus is set to, as a counterattack, refill his HP about halfway through the fight. But there's a rule in the game that you can't counterattack a counterattack. So if you reflect magic onto him, that's considered a counterattack. So his counterattack script will never trigger. He'll never refill that HP, and you get essentially half as long a fight as you normally would.
Absolutely. It's the same tech that we use to cut the elements fight in Twain. Whether you're doing vanilla speedruns or playing free enterprise. Of course, the elements is 4 sprites, but it's 2 monsters in that spot. In vanilla combined, they have over 6 digits of HP as well. Of course, at lower HP boss spots in this game, it's very easy to cut that fight in half. Some of them you can just do one lone punch and never even see the second form. You know, I will say that even with the setback from the technical difficulties earlier, Rex is in great shape here to still finish the seed sub 2 hours. And not just that, but we started with double Edward, and our racers are all just blazing through this seed. It's a great one to look at if you're intimidated by some of those rougher starts, to get an idea of just how to manage a subpar starting party.
Yeah, it's really a testament to how interesting a randomizer free enterprise, and just how many options are available to you at any given moment, that you can take what is essentially a meme start in double Edward and turn it around into these incredible times. Like all of our racers are going to finish with absolutely phenomenal times here, given what they started from the get-go. And it's a testament to not just like the options and the sort of strategies that are available in free enterprise, but also just how talented these runners are.
And I will say that Scratch might be in a little bit of trouble here. May have gotten a little greedy trying to get those reflect strats done. 2 of the casters using white. It's a very high delay spell. Takes quite a few actions to actually get cast. And Fu's nuke isn't that strong if you're not outfitting him with the right stat boosting equipment. So Meta Knight here got Scratch down on the ropes. We'll see if he can turn this back around and finish the fight before more big bangs come out.
Yeah, the one nice thing there is, if you understand Zeromus' script, when you have a chance to recover. Before he big bangs, he always has to waste 1 turn on that shake. It gives you a lot of time to sort of get your ducks in a row, get your characters back up, get ready for it. And yeah, it looks like that's exactly what's happened here for Scratch. Takes the Big Bang right there, and he's going to have a chance.
But the black hole already queued up. This nuke is going to off his foo, and that holy, or that white spell is just going to whiff.
And there's a white is okay, but that's gonna, yeah, that's gonna
Fizzle.
just fizzle because Fu is dead now.
Luckily, there won't be a virus for another while. That virus came out before the most recent Big Bang. If that virus were to come out right then and there, it would have probably been a rip fight. I wonder how Rose is doing on MP at this point. She's cast quite a few holies. She's cast plenty of Cure 4s. This is very, very dangerous territory for Scratch right now.
Yeah, he's gonna sit. He's gonna see how much damage that Big Bang does, and sort of judge. Okay, yeah, he's gonna throw the Cure 4 on Rosa here. Smart play. And then I believe it's gonna be a virus next, if I'm counting this right. Or no, black hole then virus. Excuse me.
Yeah, I believe it's 3 Big Bangs and black holes, then virus, then 3 Big Bangs and black holes, virus. Once you're firmly ensconced in this part of the script. Oh, virus is before black hole. Thank you, Simbu. Yeah, I get that little part off. I know it's a set of 3 and then the plane spell, set of 3, then the plane spell, but I forgot where it fell exactly with the black hole.
Now that was actually a really smart life 2 on Cecil right there, right before the Big Bang. Since Cecil has such an enormous HP pool, rather than using the life like you normally would, getting him up, letting him tank that Big Bang, and then being able to cure everybody back up. Looks like he's downranked to a Cure 3. I couldn't tell if that was out of necessity or just trying to conserve MP.
Out of necessity. His Rosa was below 40 MP at that point.
Gotcha. So yeah, the MP becoming a concern for Rosa, especially since life 2 so much. But it looks like he might be stabilizing. No, never mind. It happened again.
Yeah, casting the nuke with the last of Fu's MP. Luckily, though, well, no, it didn't. He actually targeted the Deadward.
Oh, okay.
If he had hit Cecil, he would have been even worse off. But
wow,
never been so happy to miss menu.
No kidding.
But I wonder, any ethers, any elixirs, any MP sources at all here? Let's see if Porum can get the direct kill here. If not, Holy brings its own special brand of counter. Oh! Okay.
It pushed it.
Yeah, we pushed into phase 2, but very, very low on it. Okay, there's some MP at least. Now he's switching over. Okay, he knows he's not skipping the refill, because we would have seen a weak counter if we hadn't had a phase change. So going Zerker strats on Cecil now, which with that Excalibur and being as levels as high as he is, should be okay. But that was, this it was definitely a zone of danger right there.
Yes, yeah. This Meta Knight has been giving all of our runners a little, but yeah, really solid save there by Scratchdragon. I don't want to say that he's stabilized again yet, because I've said that twice now, and that's been followed by a self-nuke by Fu.
It's risky timing, and again, that Edward anchor, note that Edward has nearly 1200 HP. That doesn't seem like a lot, but that Edward's agility is fairly high as well. So this could be a situation where, I mean, I don't know, maybe it was 28 and we got the Silk Web off, but maybe that Edward has a really bad agility and that's causing some issues as well.
Yeah, it's very easy to underestimate just how high Edward's agility is. Using him as an anchor always a risky prospect, because he's one of the few characters that can get several points of agility with just a single level or two. So very difficult to plan around.
And kind of at this point, reverting to pretty much the same strats that Aizen was using. going primarily Zerker Cecil with White Mage healing. Although at this point it seems to be a little more Cure 2 healing. Kind of running out of the MP earlier was a little dangerous, but it looks like the entire fight's on track now. Pestle pumping out the damage, has tons of HP. Even that 1800 on Porum's nothing to scoff at right now. So I think Scratch is just all downhill from here.
Yeah, it's that Cecil can eat a big bang at this point and keep on ticking. So even if everything goes pear-shaped with this big bang, I think he's in a pretty comfortable spot.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Speaking of pear-shaped, oh my goodness!
I'm guessing that was one of the 9-hit ones. That looked like a 9-hit.
It had to have been. It absolutely had to have been.
Oh, rocks falling.
Dodge, dodge, dodge. No!
Rosa, are you a bad enough dude to dodge a whole bunch of falling rocks?
Oh goodness, that's no.
Oh, the pain.
There's the only thing you can call that is heartbreaking. That is just all the effort put into that fight, all the stumbling to survive, and then a rock falls on your head.
So, Swimmy, moral of the story, don't rely on Porum. Demarine's not around, is she? I'll get banned.
I mean, sometimes when you rely on a 6-year-old to save the world, the 6-year-old isn't going to come through.
True. All right, Scratch, going back into this fight this time. I wonder if he's going to stick with the reflect strats again and just see if the timing works out better than it did last one, or if he's going to let Cecil, go full hybrid barbarian paladin strats.
Barbarian Paladin, now that's a fun multi-class.
Trying to remember, at least in 3rd edition, didn't barbarians have to have some element of chaos, and paladins had to have some element of, well, paladins just had to be lawful good anyway. So
that you are correct. Yeah, that is only something you can do in some. They've relaxed some of those restrictions. Back in my day, you had to be lawful good to be a paladin. These kids
let's be honest,
with their 5th editions and their.
Everyone I knew who was a paladin was actually lawful stupid, and the rest of the party was chaotic stupid. That was every game I played in undergrad, at least.
Rex making the play on the music here, so we'll be in go mode momentarily.
Yeah, there we go, Pyrolite. Lawful stupid and chaotic jerk face. You got it.
The only 2 alignments.
And yeah, for those of you, let's see here. Did not like how that started.
And this is one of the trollier Zeromuses I think we've seen in quite some time. I don't think a single one of our runners has had an easy time with the Zeromus fight.
Yeah. Well, Simbu, in all fairness, could have recovered and just gone direct strats. He opted to flex on Zeromus a little bit, made it look a little riskier than it was. He wasn't in any danger, but Zeromus definitely, yeah. Other than that, giving us a hard time. I think a key part of this is all our Edwards, because if you're not relying on Edward to do Edwardy things, you probably want him to be a low-level anchor. But the thing is that even an Edward in the 20s has a rather high agility and will throw off your rhythm in this fight pretty rudely.
Yeah, that's a very good point. It's also likely that Zeromus feels a little embarrassed from what Simbu did to him and is getting revenge on all the other runners.
You're beating me with a bard? How dare you? So Rex here is going to be picking up his last piece of the puzzle after he gets through these Magus Sisters. Scratch, though, having taken those licks, probably not going to take any more guff from this Zeromus fight. I fully expect him to just come back with a vengeance and knock this out of the park right here.
Yeah, this is going to be full focus mode here from scratchdragon. No mistakes to be made. Just going to go right in and just end this. Yeah, it looks like going for the reflect strats right off the bat here. Doesn't want to deal with that full extended fight. Just get this over with right here, right now.
Again, the tricky part of that, though, is that 2 of your casters are using Holy here, and your Fuse nukes aren't doing the damage that a Iridia or a Palom nuke would be. So, hopefully he's either counting this damage or just ready to take care of things if these big bangs come out a little too harshly. It's fortunate, though, the counter nuke from the Silk Web actually hit a wall and went right back at Zeromus, so no damage prior to the first big bang. All 5 characters may still be standing after this.
I always consider that a good omen. If that ever happens, that means it's like a dead canary in a coal mine, but then the canary comes back to life. Because I was just sleeping.
That's a very macabre metaphor, but I guess I can roll with it. Now, if your canary actually wakes up and says, "I was just sleeping," I think you're breathing some kind of fumes that are even worse for you.
Right. You probably, yeah. If the canary is talking to you, please get out of the coal mine. There is. Do not listen to talking canaries. And yeah, it looks like switched over to Cecil being the reflect target there. Always a benefit to get one of your highest HP characters to be the reflect target in strategies like this, just because they're going to need less immediate healing after big bangs. And that can always be a problem getting them healed up since they're not going to get any of the benefit of those multicasted Cure 4s, and you're probably going to have to target them with items.
Absolutely. So Rex here has picked up his crystal, is in go mode, of course, has that pass as well, and a whole bunch of levels from the moon. But wanting to grind a little more, I may just want to leave nothing to chance at this point after the earlier technical issues.
Yeah, hard to blame him whatsoever here. Just wanting to make sure he can finish this out solidly. Doesn't want to leave anything up in the air. Probably the most morale destroying thing at this point could be going into Zeromus and having a hard time after all of those technical issues and everything. So he probably just wants to make sure he's safe and secure here.
Simbu pointing out another clever piece of his tech in chat, sharing it with us. That's a little nugget of knowledge for you. The using someone with more middling HP as your first reflect target. When the Big Bang comes out, kills them, and then if you do heal up your party, you're not giving any of that sweet Cure 4 juice back to Zeromus with the Reflect.
Very, very solid strategy there.
If your team is in a situation where you need to heal at all anyway. Scratch here seems to be keeping everything together a little bit better than last time. These spells are still coming out cleanly. And getting really good rolls.
Yeah, should be getting very close to that that magic number. I believe it's about 60,000 damage.
61,000 is what you're looking for.
Ah. Ooh.
Well, we say that.
We really need to just stop commentating, and this is not.
I'm just putting my hand over. I'm just pulling another window over scratchdragon. Just let me know when he's done, so I.
Yeah, let's go talk about rexxraul. Rexxraul is doing some great grinding here.
Yeah. So the thing here is that Rex actually, I mean, again, not to put any more evil on screen. Okay, there's the flag. Okay,
the Hail Mary Holy.
Scratch with the third place, 1 hour 58 minutes 23 seconds. GG to Scratch. We'll see if we can get him in here for an interview in a moment. Oh my God, I was so worried there.
Yeah, I was about ready to start watching another stream and commentating on what's going on there because
we were not helping the situation clearly. We were. I'm just like. So I'm not going to do commentary for a few weeks. I feel bad enough as is.
Yeah, I should just stick to just stick to restreaming where I can't curse. At least not audibly. But yeah, Rex heading into his own fight, going to close this off. And yeah, still, given all the technical problems and everything that's happened during the seed, still going to be an incredible finish. Great time for all of the runners here. So
absolutely. So checking his party one final time before walking up here to activate it. And again, based on at least his save time, it looked like Rex lost, what, about 22 minutes earlier?
It would seem to be somewhere in that area, yeah. Just based on where his the time on his save file was compared to what the in-game time was.
Yeah.
Or excuse me,
and of course, save file and in-game timer and real time for Final Fantasy IV is not the same at all. There are 1001 things that freeze your timer in game, and also, of course, if you ever reset or take a wipe, it doesn't update that either. But yeah, definitely lost quite a bit of time, but still chugging along, keeping with it. And let's see how he handles kicking this butt.
There's some nice juicy HP numbers though, on a lot of integral party members here. So hopefully. And goodness gracious, please don't prove me wrong, Zeromus. Hopefully this will be a smooth fight.
Yeah. I mean, his Porum is pushing 2,000. Does have that Cecil in the middle spot, though. I wonder if that Cecil's all the way up to around the 42 agility mark, or if Rex is just doing the whole, I have an Excalibur, and I have Zeus gauntlets. I don't care. I'm punching you in the face till you're dead. One of my favorite 2v2 strats is just that, especially when you have adamant armor on top of it. Of course, no adamants in this flag set, but there comes a point where you just have such power overwhelming that you don't care about your agility anchoring whatsoever. Oh, no, I do. I was talking about his agility, if it was around 42 agility, to put Zeromus at relative 3. And we might not be getting Scratch for an interview. He's not responded to the request. So there we go. He's in the chat at least. Hey, Scratch, if you want to come in for an interview, you're welcome to do it. Or if you just want to field questions in chat, that works just as well. Your call, dude. Rex here, using all the reflected spells. I think his Rudia even learned Nuke right before he came here.
Yeah, she seems to be about the right level for that. And I believe we are joined by scratchdragon.
Someone shoot me.
So let's
The
not
moon.
even talk about the Z fight. Yeah, I know that that's still fresh in your head.
No. The Z fight is fine. I'm okay with that. I did that terribly, and I understand that. Someone shoot me about this adamant being right in front of me, and I decided to go to moon.
Okay, that was actually where I was gonna. Okay, I was gonna shoot you with that. When you saw Simbu's earlier done, like at that point, I know you had to make the choice. What made you opt to do moon rather than come back and check more Earth spots?
I didn't see Simbu's dot done.
Oh, you didn't have IRC pulled up. Gotcha.
I keep IRC down because it honestly it drives me crazy and it makes you constantly look at it, and I'm the type of person that constantly looks at it. I'm there like, okay, someone's got to be dot done now. Someone's got to be dot done, and it affects my gameplay. So I try to not look at it.
Oh, okay,
Gotcha.
fair enough. Definitely. I mean, that is one of the things that we often say, that trying to metagame, you'll shoot yourself in the foot as much as you don't. So just keeping it out of your mind and just playing your game, nothing wrong with that either.
The thing was, I got the darkness crystal. I looked at it. I said to myself, this is a bait, and I went and did it anyway.
And quick point of order, by the way, rexxraul has finished official time, 4th place with a 2:03.56. GG's to Rex, coming through in spite of the technical issues, and we'll see if we can get him in here shortly as well.
Oh, I was about to say, I would not have been surprised if I ended up 4th place in this race. What happened to Rex?
Apparently had a computer crash and lost probably about 15 to 20 minutes of gameplay.
Sounds about right. I mean,
Yeah, it was interesting because there were of the forerunners on the game, 2 of you did go to the moon and 2 of you didn't. So it was really kind of just like a 50-50. It really did feel like a 50-50 gamble. Like when you get that darkness crystal, like is it up here? Is it not? Was there anything that sort of, because you said when you said it looked like bait. What sort of tipped you off to actually chase it rather than sticking on the earth?
Following the numbers. There was things still left over on the moon, like the Luca key, the rat tail, and stuff like that. And by the numbers, if you think about it, you could finish the Earth, go up to the moon, find the adamant on the moon, and still have to come back down to the Earth. So if you finish the moon first, and I already had the pass and the legend. If the adamant's on the moon, I get the adamant, I come back down, I go and do it that way. I also get additional items that it could be behind as well. So it was just, that was what was rolling through my mind at the time.
Well, you still clinch that 3rd place victory. You get 2 points for that. When is your next match coming up, and who are you playing?
That's a good question. I try to take it one game at a time, to be honest. The next one might be next week. Don't quote me on that.
Let's see here. As long as I'm not overlooking one, I see you have a match on August 8th at 8 p.m. Eastern against Woobear, RN Castro 86, and Dusty Griff.
Yeah. You know, today was one of those days where I was all ready to take someone's head off, and I hope their necks were clean, but it ended up this way. But Dusty, oof, I'm coming for Dusty. And then after Dusty, once I make it into the next round, because mark my words, I'm making it into the next round, I'm coming for Magus.
Ooh, strong words. I like to hear that. I like that that you're not getting that moon plays and killing your resolve. I love hearing.
No. Listen, Rando's gonna be Rando. That's all that is. And the only thing that's stopping me is Rando. I'm sure everyone else said the exact same thing.
Well, GG on your finish today. Thanks so much for playing for us and talking to us, and good luck in the rest of your races here in the league.
Yeah, thanks, guys. GG's to everyone.
And we are also joined by rexxraul. Rex, GG's. We know we lost you for a little bit during that match. How did that impact your gameplay with your decisions when you started to see the .duns roll in? What made you choose your priorities and choose your battles in light of that situation?
I did panic a little, so I avoided my normal strategy in this, which is to avoid the moon like the plague, and I'm like, oh, better go to the moon for some reason. I don't know why, but I went to the moon and there was nothing there, so that was good. So
Well, before the technical issues happened, you actually had an incredibly strong start. I know
Yeah.
right from the get-go, you went right to the underground, and that was the absolute right thing to do. You picked up all the items that you needed. You got those dancing daggers and your eddies, got the consumables that you needed. Were you feeling as confident as you looked on screen there?
Yeah, I did. I felt really good right at the beginning because, as you said, going underground, I wanted to give myself like plenty of money to start with, and I know that there's a ton of loot to get in the underworld. So I went down there for the cash, and I wanted to make sure that there's as good a chance as possible of me finding those dancing daggers at a shop. And when I found them in the Fey March, I'm like, this is actually really good. Now I can start making checks, like I got that Cecil on Mount Hobbs, and like I can start checking key items. So yeah. But yeah, I felt really good at the beginning. I mean, when the technical issues happened, I still felt like I was in a pretty okay spot. But I mean, I don't think I was going to beat Simbu in any stretch. Simbu's time was great. So.
I mean, you were, and just like you said, with your Moon last strats would have been amazing for you. It stinks that happened, but you got 3 more races coming up, of course, to see if they pan out for you. Do you know when your next one is?
I've got one tomorrow.
Oh, excellent. So you are our, oh yeah, there we go. You, Dragus, Dunka, and Blaze tomorrow night at 7 on the Free Enterprise Network. That's going to be a good one.
Yeah, it should be good. I've been feeling good. I mean, it didn't like my routing ended up being unlucky today, and there's the technical issues. But I've been feeling like I've been playing probably the best that I have been playing these last couple months, and so I'm really looking forward to more of these races.
Yeah, we can't wait to see you racing again. Love to. I honestly can't wait to see you get a race, even. You know, with the technical issues, this was still a really fantastic finish on your part.
I loved that start. The going straight underground, choosing to do your looting in Dwarf Castle and Tomra and Fey Marsh instead of bothering with Baron. I thought it was fantastic. The double dancing dagger and the black sword right out the gate. It was great. Just amazing early game, great performance.
Yeah,
really,
and
really enjoyed.
I think if I'm given a magma key and double eddy, I would do that 10 times out of 10. So that's how I feel. Like the dancing dagger, I think, is that important with a double Edward strat to make sure that you've got all the checks open that you have to get it, because otherwise it's so hard for him to get through even to some of the first bosses.
Certainly. Well, best of luck in your race tomorrow. I know I'll certainly. So thank you so much for coming in for an interview, and yeah, good luck in the rest of the league for you.
Thank you, and thanks for commentating today.
Oh, our pleasure.
GG's again. All right, and with that, this third match of the league, the Highway to the Zemus Zone, is complete. We are going to be sending you over to LQ Flurry 14, who is practicing, also in the round of 32. So let's go give him some free enterprise love from the RPG Limit Break Station. Smaepdii, you have any final thoughts today?
No, just been an absolute pleasure casting with you, Inven. Another huge shout out to our restreamer Tarasu and our tracker Rinit. They've been doing a phenomenal job here today. Definitely show them some love as well, and have fun, everybody, with the rest of the league. We still got plenty of racing left to go, so get excited.
Have a good Saturday, everyone. Take care.